Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Mr. Corbyn went on these education-related issues, and all of them are very important in their own right. Is not the problem of this strategy, though, since at the moment there are so many other things on the news agenda, his contribution to PMQs is largely likely to be ignored?
I think it's a strategic choice that Jeremy Corbyn has made, not to follow the Westminster agenda, to do his own thing, to settle on the issues he wants to settle on. And I think many people would say, look, education is important. It's right for the official opposition to challenge the government on the delivery of these policies. I think what frustrates Labour MPs is two things. One is the execution of this. If you're going to go on education, don't go on everything. Don't go on class sizes. Don't go on free childcare. Choose one thing. Really nail in on this and just jabber away all 6 questions, because that's where when you get to the 5th or 6th question, you sometimes tend to expose prime ministers
because he's run out of briefing.
They've run out of their brief. But I think it also frustrates Labour MPs that they have nothing to say on the issue of the moment, namely Britain's place in the European Union. I know this is going to be a long campaign, we've got many months to go, but it is the only thing that Westminster and politicians and the newspapers are talking about. And I know a lot of Labour MPs are very frustrated that they're almost not a voice in this debate, and I think that begins to worry them.
That's true, isn't it? I mean, the debate, perhaps inevitably because the big divisions are inside the Conservative Party. But the debate, the argument seems to be taking place almost with Labour having a walk-on part. And I wonder if that isn't also because a lot of people, including on your own side, feel that Mr. Corbyn's heart's not quite in it. When it was Labour's big in-day last Saturday, he went and spoke to a CND rally.
But can I tell you why he's gone on the education stuff today at PMQs?
You can, but could you just address that first and then I'll absolutely come back?
But it's linked, isn't it? Because I think the genesis of your question is why isn't he talking about Europe at the dispatch box, and why is he not pressing the Prime Minister on some of those divisions in the Conservative Party? He's enthusiastically supporting staying in the European Union. The party's enthusiastic supporting it.
But where have we seen that enthusiasm?
Well, he's been backing the Labour in campaign. The Shadow Cabinet's fully supportive of it. He's made all the statements that he's supporting it.
But he went to a CND rally last Saturday. Last Saturday was meant to be Labour's day of in.
And it was
day for Remain. But by going to the CND rally, all the headlines the next day and that night, actually, were about Mr. Corbyn going there.
Well, the bottom line is here, we're trying to create a division in the Labour Party that doesn't exist. Every single Labour MP, with the exception of half a dozen, are enthusiastically supporting the campaign to stay in the European Union. The divisions are on the family of the Conservative Party. You've seen that at Prime Minister's questions.
Of course, no one's
getting
arguing
lumps out of each other here. We're very united in the message that the Labour Party's putting out. And the reason that Jeremy Corbyn didn't go in the European Union today at the dispatch box is because most parents are finding out this week which secondary school their children will be going to. It's very, very current in terms of the lives of ordinary parents up and down the country. So they'll watch that and think, I've just had a letter that means I can't get into the secondary school that even I live in the catchment area. That's relevant, and the Leader of the Opposition is pressing the Prime Minister on why.
But absolutely, I understand that. But given that he chose to go in that area, why did he not include, from the Institute of Fiscal Studies, these quite serious figures about the growth of child poverty by the end of the decade? I mean, surely, for a Labour leader, it's an easy link, too, to link education and child poverty. Why did he not even mention that?
Well, I think he's mentioned the National Audit Office report in terms of childcare, because that is linked, of course,
but he didn't
quite fundamentally to both education and child poverty figures. I'm not in the room when they're discussing what to do at Prime Minister's questions. Maybe
would you like to be?
I should. I mean, Matt writes some very good jokes for the Prime Minister. So
well, the Acropolis one was terrible.
Well, I was being generous when I said pretty good jokes for the Prime Minister, but perhaps he should have done so. Look, the Leader of the Opposition can go in a whole plethora of subjects, and they'll go through the analysis of what's best. But one of the things that he's trying to do is to go on real issues with the Prime Minister, rather than just fueling this Westminster bubble of continually banging on about Europe.
But what's the point of being Labour leader if you don't highlight a potentially devastating report on child poverty.
Well, I think it's important that he does, and I think it's important the Labour
he
Party do that as well. But also, I think
But
it's
he
also
didn't.
important for the party leader to be on the side of parents who are really concerned about the shortages of school places, who are receiving those letters this week, and he is raising that issue directly with the Prime Minister to say, why are you not sorting this?
On coming back to Europe, are you worried that you will need Labour votes to win? You'll need Scottish Nationalist votes to win as well, because your own votes, Tory votes, are likely to be pretty badly split. Indeed, you may even lose the referendum among Tory voters. Are you worried about Mr Corbyn's enthusiasm for Europe?
Well, the Labour Party is, as Ian said, pretty much united in favour of in. And there's a huge amount of Labour support for that position. So I think, you know, there's
But are you worried about Mr Corbyn's apparent lack of enthusiasm?
Not really.
You don't think that Labour needs to do more to get that Labour vote out?
Look, Jeremy Corbyn is not exactly the most appealing political figure to the general public. So what we need is the big voices who people trust.
So you'd be happy not to share a stage with him then?
I'm not planning on, but I haven't been asked, Andrew, and I think that he said that he won't share a platform with any of us. But it's not about that. It's about allowing people to decide. And but I don't think that Jeremy Corbyn's whatever his position.
Matters, is what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
The European Union referendum won't be
small.
won or lost on politicians. It's ordinary voices that will win or lose this.
No, but it could be won or lost on turnout. That's
could
my
be,
point.
but
And you
I
need,
think
if you want to stay in Europe, you need to
Labour
get
needs to
that
get
Labour
No,
vote
but
out.
it's not about
Well,
Jeremy
absolutely.
Corbyn. It's about the argument and the case that we're clearly going to. The economy will be stronger if we
Barry
stay in.
Sherman's question was very accurate, because the Prime Minister should have been brave enough to say to the Conservative Party, we have a deal, we're voting in. The fact he's not done that has a huge split, which makes it much more difficult to win this, and I think that's
No,
unfortunate.
it's
for the
exactly
Prime
like
Minister.
75 in the Labour Party. Final thought?
I think there are many people in the Labour Party who are slightly worried by the leadership's slight hint of equivocation when it comes to the issue, and they suspect that's one of the reasons why Jeremy Corbyn doesn't like raising it, because he doesn't want to get himself into positions. I interviewed Peter Mandelson yesterday and offered him an opportunity to be critical of Jeremy Corbyn. Very cautious about it, said no, Jeremy Corbyn's in the right place. There's a definite sense from the pro-Remain camp on the Labour side, they do not want to get into a fight with the leadership over this. And I think
During the referendum.
During the referendum, and they just want to keep it sort of, the ceasefire on Europe intact.
We'll have to see what we can do about that. James, thank you very much.
That's all, folks.